All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And this is I specifically put the title as "It's Coming, and You Won't Escape It." And I was basically going back and forth between either that or prophecies catching up to the world. And the spirit had me go with this, but it's all in all, it's the same. It's in the same spirit. All right, and that's at the end of the day, prophecy is catching up to the world because now we have here. This is an article from BloombergQuint.com, and as you can see, the title says UK faces worst inflation shock among G7 nations. IMF says, and they're saying that the gas prices in the UK is set to basically go up a lot next week because they're planning to, I think, put some more sanctions or so on Russia or something related to that. All right, and now what we're also seeing is not just this inflation shock, right? But you're also seeing food scarcity, which is getting worse and worse. The news about things like that is becoming more and more prevalent. You're also hearing about the normalization of the MOTB, all right, the mark in Revelation 13, which is also being spoken about more and more. All right, and now talks of nuclear weapons being used in Ukraine. All right, so the introduction of nuclear weapons being that potential for use is now being put out there, and all these are prophecies that are catching up to the world, and the world is not going to escape it. All right, the things we read in the scriptures that we tell you are going to happen, they are given by the word of the Heavenly Father. So it's not a prediction that you can, here they put this notion out there of destiny, right? Of in terms of, my destiny is in my hands and I can control my fate. And a lot of their movies and uh animes and shows are based on people basically taking destiny into their own hands and changing, their fate and doing whatever it is that, they want to change. That's not how it works in reality. All right. In reality, everything has already been set and preordained to happen a certain kind of way. Okay. So in reality, when we read to you the prophecies, you're not going to be able to change that. And now the world is seeing those prophecies come into pass, it's catching up to them. And now they're hearing about it more and more. And you got people acting like this is brand new news. But it is to them because they haven't been paying attention. Now it says here Britain faces the worst inflation shock of all major advanced economies over the next 2 years. The International Monetary Fund warned as it slashed its growth forecast. The global watchdog said the UK economy will be around 1% smaller in both 2022 and 2023 than it forecast in January. And the thing is, not only are these things going to happen, but these elites that are behind the scenes that are, they look at is there a little fire anywhere? All right, if there's no fire, start one. If there is, fan the fire, fan the flames, and feed the fire. That's what they do. So their part of their agenda is to cause, economic deterrence and economic, chaos all around the world because that allows them to introduce their new system that they want to introduce, their reset. All right, you don't renovate or reset something if it's working perfectly fine. So if it's working perfectly fine and you want to reset it, then you have to cause a problem with it, and then you'd be justified in doing so. But it says here, so yeah, so as they may say one thing now, but then they may come back again and say, oh, based on what we're seeing now, we need to you know change the numbers a bit, and we need to start accommodating for this and for this and for that and for that. You know, like the same way they were doing with this Sicky Vicky coming out. Oh well, the numbers, the curve, the numbers. All right, flatten the curve. Remember that? It says here, it blamed the downgrade on the cost of living crisis and slowing investments as interest rates rise to tackle rocketing consumer prices. Now, let's see. All right, so these are just some statistics here, but now let's come down here, and it says the projections underline the scale of the policy challenge facing the Bank of England and the government as they balance a starker trade-off between flagging growth and soaring prices than peers. And it's a trend. All right. Now it says here, in Shalom, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshai to Yahweh Shem Yahshai Barakatham to all you tuning in. That's right. This is Lafayette, Temple of the Lord, Proverbs 21 and 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So now, with UK facing this inflation, what they do about it is not even going to be up to them. Whatever decision they come up with, the Lord is going to be behind it. And it's going to be something that's going to be geared toward bringing about that new system. And see, the process that these elites are going to use to bring about their new system is prophecy, is written in prophecy. There are certain prophecies that are written to come to pass, but the way they're going to come to pass is by these elites enacting their plans. Okay? If the scriptures say, I'm giving an example here, right? Famines, right? Lord prophesied of famines, or the prophets saw visions of famines happening in this time. Well, guess what? You fast forward to now, and now these elites in their mind are saying, man, if we want maximum chaos, we got to starve these people out. So let's start blocking off the food and start messing with that and causing, different situations that can target the food, and we can eventually starve these people out. So they plan that up, and then they start enacting that plan, and then guess what? In turn, you have people starving, and you have lack of food, and you have food shortages. All right, because the scriptures say that there are going to be famines. Whether the Lord sends a crazy drought, or he sends locusts or whatever, or he has these Edomites, these elites pull different strings to cut off certain supplies, eventually it's going to all produce the same outcome, which is what the scriptures tell us. And that's another reason why we have to be very attentive to real world current events, because the scriptures tell us the outcome. All right, it tells us the outcome, what's going to happen. Now, in terms of what's going to cause it to happen, that's what we're watching. Okay, that's what we're looking for. These prophecies, we know what they are. We know that they're going to happen. But now, what current event is going to lead to the fulfillment of this or the fulfillment of that? That's why you have to watch. All right, that's why you have to watch, so you can see. Because see, you may have the answer, right? If you're doing an addition problem, you may have the answer, right? You may have the answer is 5. All right, well, now you got to watch and see, okay, well, what two numbers are they going to use to add up to 5? Because there's various different numbers you can use to add up to 5. So we got to watch and see, well, what two numbers are they going to pick? Now, if we see they pick 2, we know that the only other thing that's going to be left is 3. That's the only other number that they can possibly go with. If they pick 3, we know that the only other answer they can possibly go with is 2. So what am I saying? Let me relate this back to proper English. What I'm saying is, we know the outcome, which is that 5. So we have to watch what these devils do, because as time goes on and they make certain moves, there's only but a few moves left that they can make to get to the same outcome. All right. You may go, there may be 10 paths to one road, but at some point those paths they'll have to converge, they'll have to meet somewhere if they come into this one road, or at least be in close proximity. So us knowing where the destination is and us paying attention to what these devils are doing gives us that insight. We're able to find that missing piece. And that's why we're able to, basically have that upper leg on what it is that they're likely to do, or how they plan to go about it, and how, what we should be prepared to see. All right. So let's come down here. It says, responding to the IMF report, the Treasury said Britain is being affected by global economic challenges, including the war in Ukraine. So it's interesting that first you had the demic that messed things up, right? Then you brought the follow up, which is this whole situation in Ukraine. And it's interesting when these things come, they last long enough to do enough damage, and then something else comes and continues. So now this Ukraine situation has gone from just Russia invading, according to them, invading Ukraine and doing this, that, and the third, to now that situation is leading to food shortages, is leading to fertilizer shortages, is leading to inflationary things, is leading to gas prices going up. You see, so when you really pay attention, who is the Ukraine crisis really affecting? Who is it really targeting? And when they come out and say, "Whoa, we're putting sanctions on Russia, we're putting sanctions here," who is that? They're indirectly shooting your ass. Okay, that's like shooting a gun or shooting a bullet at a reflective wall. Even though the gun is not pointed at you, the bullet is gonna come right back to you. That's what they do when they say, "Oh, we're gonna sanction them, we're gonna do this." They know that at the end of the day, it's gonna come right back and hit you. But obviously, they're not gonna point the gun directly at you. Then you're gonna know, the jig is up. Anyway, it says we recognize these forecasts will be concerning for many people and families. A spokesperson for the department said in a statement. But at the end of the day, these devils are running out of patience. They can't sit and wait forever, because if they wanted to go in a stalemate route, they wanted to say, "Well, we ain't gonna do nothing. We're just gonna wait it out." They're still gonna be losing, because what's gonna be happening while you wait? The elect are going to be getting woken up. More and more people, the word is going to spread more and more. So they're literally running out of time on all fronts. Meaning they're not going to be sitting on their ass trying to cover every single track that they go on for long. Eventually they're going to say, look, look, man, just implement it. All right. However, the support we provided over the past 2 years has put our economy in a good position to deal with these headwinds. This statement right here, this however statement right here, is something called damage control. And that's what they do. Whenever they're about to break bad news, they always add damage control. And damage control is to make sure the public doesn't panic. So they'll tell you, yeah, things look pretty bad, but it's not too crazy. This is something that it's not like something we haven't really seen before, or we don't know how to handle, or we have mechanisms in place to help us through this. They say all these things so the people can calm down and not realize just how bad of a situation they're actually in. Okay. Now it says living standards squeeze, and that's really the part that hurts the people. The living standards, how you have your living standards have to change, how you have to start sacrificing, and that's a word that's not in a lot of these people's vocabulary. This is it says Britain has only just recovered all the output lost in the demic, but households now face the steepest fall in living standards since the 1950s as inflation outpaces wages and personal taxes rise. You hear that? Inflation outpaces wages. What does that mean? That means that you're getting paid, but you're not getting paid enough to keep up with inflation. When inflation starts hitting heavy and rent goes up and grocery goes up and all the things you buy on the regular go up, your pay doesn't go up. That's a problem. Okay? If you get $100 a week, right? And groceries cost about 50, I'm just putting numbers together. Groceries cost 50, rent costs 20, and you're left with, what's that? 50 plus 20 is 70. You're left with $30, right? And you can use that on whatever, gym membership, whatever. When inflation kicks in, you're still getting $100 at the end of the week. Grocery is now from 50 to about 65, and rent has gone from 20 to about 30. So now you're doing 60 plus 30, which is 90 plus 5, right? 65 plus 30, you get 95 that you have to spend on bills, and now you're left with what? $5. You at first you would have about, what did I say, $30 left to use for whatever you use it for. Now you're left with only $5. So now $5 is not going to be enough for you to pay for your gym membership, for you to pay your car note, for you to pay, whatever little accessory. So now what do you got to do? You got to start cutting things off because you can't afford it. And then the thing is, you used to have $30, right, to spend on those things. But the problem is the prices of those things are going up as well, as you're having less and less to spend on them. So then it gets to the point where you're not even going to have anything left after you pay for rent and groceries. Then it gets to the point where you can't pay both rent and groceries. So you now need to pick, am I going to pay for rent or am I going to pay groceries? And then it gets to the point where you can't pay either. You see, because your wages, inflation is outpacing your wages. You're not getting paid enough to accommodate for the rising prices of these things. When they raise minimum wage, when minimum wage goes up, everything else goes up. You're not getting more money. All right. In actuality, you're not. It just looks like you are. Okay. If I don't know, if I eat breakfast every day, right? Breakfast costs $10 and I get paid $20, right? I get paid $20 and every day I buy $10 worth of breakfast. If now they say I'm gonna increase your pay to $30, right? Or $40, guess what? Breakfast is now gonna cost $20. So at first I used to get paid $20. I paid $10 for breakfast. Now I get paid $40. I pay $20 for breakfast. Still the same difference. Okay. Oh, $40. That's a lot. But guess what? Breakfast went up too. Anyway, it says here, the IMF said that the problems in global supply chains have driven up costs, predated the war in Ukraine, but the conflict has deepened the crisis across the world. It did not explain why the UK faces the worst inflation shock, but economists have pointed out that it is an open economy that is highly exposed to global energy market prices. It says the UK was downgraded because consumption is projected to be weaker than expected as inflation erodes real disposable income, while tighter financial conditions are expected to cool investment. Let's see what else we got here. It says, excluding the pandemic, that would be the worst year of growth since 2009, and that's them saying the growth is gonna be cut by 1%. Let's see what else we got here. It says inflation this year will not be as bad as the 7.7 seen in the U.S. So now they're saying the UK is getting ready to face an inflation shock, but it ain't gonna be as bad this year as it is here in America. And yet, what is the average American doing? They out here just summertime is coming, right? So the sundresses are coming out, as they say, suns out, buns out, right? Okay, the scriptures were on it when it said, as in the days of Noah, they did eat, they did drink, they did marry, they did give in marriage. Basically, what lived about without a care in the world, even when evils are growing upon the face of the earth. It says here, but consumer prices dropped back sharply in America in 2023, while remaining elevated in the UK. The IMF said strong wage growth in the UK due to job shortages and skill mismatches was a contributory factor. It urged advanced central banks to tighten monetary policy and warned that rising inflation and interest rates meant governments had less fiscal space to support their economies than before. And like we said, eventually, look, if you're going from 0 to 100%, even if you reported on it every percentage it went up, eventually it would hit 100%. So we keep reporting on these things, but eventually it's going to happen. All right, eventually it's going to happen. Now let's get the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 11. This is why it's going to happen. Isaiah 55 and 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void. Now, These scriptures that we read, though they may be accounts or visions, or they may be direct words of the Lord, all of it still comes from the Lord. He gives a commandment for an event to take place, and then that event gets recorded in the scriptures. He gives the vision to the prophet, and then the prophet records the vision in the scriptures. He gives the word, and the prophet records the words that he has given. All right. So it's all his word. All the precepts, all the scriptures we read is still all the word of the Lord. Even if it's being spoken out of the mouth of a prophet, the scriptures say in Matthew 10 and 20 that it is not ye that speak, but the spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. It says, it shall not return unto me void. So what can we take out of that? Well, we know that according to Isaiah 55 and 11, the words of the Lord are not going to return unto him void. Meaning, if the Lord says something is going to happen, it's going to happen. All right. So what are things that the Lord has said are going to happen? Well, they're listed as prophecies in the scriptures, starting with the MOTB, which is a big one. World War III, which is a big one. Famines, which is a big one. Cannibalism, which is a big one. Okay. Diseases, martial law, concentration camps, all these things are in here. Okay. It says, but it shall accomplish, spiritual power, the so-called alien invasion, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. So Jacob's trouble is something that ultimately was something that went forth out of the Lord's mouth. So what's going to happen? Jacob's trouble is going to accomplish what the Lord wants it to accomplish. And what do we know is going to happen in Jacob's trouble? Well, you can read Jeremiah 30 and 7 and Daniel 12 and 1. Moving on, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 42. And it says, he answered me and said, this present life is not the end where much glory doth abide. Therefore have they prayed for the weak. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time. Now, this is the conversation between Ezra and the angel Uriel. And Ezra is basically asking questions concerning the judgments that were to come and the promises or the blessing that was for us. And he mentioned about how in past times, our forefathers prayed for, certain, basically people in our nation that weren't right anyway. Okay. But the angel was telling him, look, that's because right now is not, and their prayers availed. Right. An example is when Moses prayed on behalf of the nation when the Lord sent a plague among them in the book of Numbers. And the Most High had mercy. So the angel said, well, that's because those times are not the end. Those times are not the time of doom or Jacob's trouble. In Jacob's trouble, you ain't going to be able to, well, let me actually read it. Verse 43, it says, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time and the beginning of the immortality for it to come. So what is going to be happening in the day of doom? All right, Revelation 12 and Revelation 9 and 12 on down is an example going into the nuclear destruction and Yahweh's return. And what's he coming with? He's coming with healing in his wings. And who is he going to make immortal? He's going to make the elect of the nation of Israel immortal. And then the rest of the nation as they come forth from the loins of the elect. Wherein corruption is past, intemperance is at an end, infidelity is cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. And we're seeing the beginning of that now. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed. See? So he's telling him, look, when the day of doom hits, ultimately, when prophecy catches up to the world, at that point, nobody is going to be able to save him that is destroyed. So you ain't going to be able to pray for somebody who's destined for judgment and then the Lord will take heed. No. It says, nor to oppress him that hath gotten the victory. And I'll tell you this, when when the Lord has his mind that he wants to judge an individual, but then another individual prays to the Lord on behalf of that individual, so then the Lord says, all right, I ain't going to judge him. Guess what? When the individual the Lord wanted to judge dies without getting judged, the judgment still hangs over his head. So the Lord might say, all right, I ain't going to judge Michael, right? But when Michael dies and his spirit comes back up here, guess what? He's gonna go back on the earth in a different body. Maybe I'll judge him then. Or maybe I'll wait till Michael, his spirit comes back in the time of Jacob's trouble, and then I hit him with all the judgments, the heavy ones that I've been, the heavy hitters, so to speak. So, and the way the Lord will do it is by making sure that that spirit comes back and does wickedness again, so he can still get your ass. So the Lord, at the end of the day, does what he wants to do, and he doesn't dwell in time. So to him, it's like, okay, well, I may not do it right now, but I'll still do what I want to do. Okay, I'm still going to do what I want to do. And it says here, verse 45, then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that hath gotten the victory. So who are going to be the ones that have gotten the victory? Well, that's here the book of Revelation, chapter 15. This is Revelation chapter 15, verse 2. It says, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, which is John is looking at the firmament. It says, and the reason he describes it as a sea of glass mingled with fire is because he's looking at the fire through because the firmament is transparent. You can see through it. So being that glass is also see-through, he's looking at the fire going on, burning down here while he's up, because the chariot that the elect are going to be in is going to be above, is going to be out, so the fire cannot touch, the elect or those that are in the chariot. So looking down through the firmament, down at the destruction, is what John is describing as a sea of glass mingled with fire. It says here, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast. Now, actually, out of curiosity, let's look up here the word glass. What do we have here? Hyalinos or hyalinos. So it says here, of glass or transparent like glass, glassy. All right. So it says, let me go back. All right, so Revelation 15 and 2, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his charagma, and over the number of his name. All right, now I purposely didn't say that word right there, but you know what I'm talking about. Stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. So they got the victory, and where were they? They were in a chariot. So that's now when we go back to 2nd Ezra 7, it mentions about at that point, anybody that is destined for destruction, nobody can deliver. And as it says here, verse 45 again, continuing, nor to oppress him that hath gotten the victory. So you're not going to be able to stop or oppress or harm anybody that the Lord has basically given the victory, all right, to be delivered. Salakia. Let's see. Okay, so that's pretty much it on this part. Moving on to the next precept, because what's going to happen as these prophecies start catching up, to the world, people are going to start asking questions, and they're going to realize that, hold on, we know that there are men that speak on these things, and every time they talk, there's always somebody trying to shut them down or say that they're crazy and whatnot. So if these things are happening, and you go to your pastor, for example, badmouths the Hebrew Israelites. Now, when all hell breaks loose, when the prophecies that the Hebrew Israelites have been speaking about start coming to pass, and you go to your pastor because he should quote unquote know better, and he doesn't have an answer, what option are people going to be left with? Because pride is a mofo, but guess what? Destruction is destruction will drive out that pride. Fear will drive out that pride, and people will swallow their pride and try to come and look for answers from the same men that they said, I ain't never gonna hear nothing they gotta say. You ain't gonna miss me with that. Okay. Well, we might have missed you with that, but you know who ain't gonna miss? The Most High ain't gonna miss with the destruction. So you got people that talk about miss me with that warning shit. Well, the Most High ain't gonna miss you with that judgment. See? So they're gonna come back looking, trying to find a way to get some answers, because now, right now, their family is affected. Now they are affected. Now they're looking for a solution. Now it concerns them. Because when you speak about inflation, the dude ain't prompted to look it up. Why does the average Jake care about inflation? What the hell is that? No, that's that economic terms. I don't need that. What's that gonna do for me? Now, when this man is paying crazy ass amounts for rent, he doesn't know what's going on. Prices are going through the roof, and now he can't find no food to eat. And now somebody's breaking into his house, and shit is getting bad and bad and bad, and it's overwhelming him. Then the questions are gonna come, and he's gonna be looking for answers. Well, what do I do? For some people, they're not even gonna care what's going on. They're just gonna know, or they're just gonna want to know what to do. Because clearly I see what's going on. It doesn't look good. But what do I do? And that's when we're going to tell you, well, what you can do is you can take your ass to the sellers and you can go buy. Because we ain't got nothing for you, sir. Remember, we missed you with that. So you're going to miss us with all them questions. But anyway, this is Ezekiel 33 and 33. It says, and when this cometh to pass. So what is that this? Right? When what cometh to pass? When these prophecies come to pass. Lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. Because how do you know when a prophet is a true prophet? When what they say comes to pass. And the world is going to see because that's why the Lord has us known for certain things. Like, for example, Great Millstone is known for going into the MOTB. And you know what? The Lord did that on purpose. The Lord had it on purpose where all these other groups and these camps, they all basically come against one main group, which is Great Millstone. And when they come against us, they highlight things that we teach. And they'll say, nah, we're going off. Nope. We say that the MOTB is a charagma, but it's not. So what is happening as they're doing that? Word is getting out more and more. Anybody that might see that video will say, oh, they mentioned in their breakdown of such and such that Great Millstone teaches that's talking about the charagma or whatever. So what you're doing is putting out that information even more that Great Millstone teaches that this is this or this is this. So when the Lord has it come to pass and the prophecy manifests and everybody now starts to see what the truth is, they're going to know who the true men of the Lord were. Okay? Because like I said, it's like if if everybody's going around, right, there's this individual prophesying of something, the wolves are coming, and eventually he's going to be known in the town. Anybody that comes, they go, oh, that's just I don't know, James, he's always talking about the wolves are coming. And they say it not in a good light or in a good sense. Oh, he's crazy, he's always talking about the wolves are coming. But when the wolves come, everybody's going to know, James was a prophet. James was right. James was talking about it. They're going to know who was saying the things that are actually happening. Okay? And the Lord is going to let it be known, then shall they be known who are my chosen, because they were known for teaching a certain thing, but nobody believed that thing was true. But that's okay because they were known for it anyway. So now when we understand that thing is true, we're going to know exactly who was teaching it. Now we know and believe that what we teach is true, but the Lord is going to make it manifest to the world. Because at the end of the day, when prophecy catches up, there's only one answer. There's only one conclusion everybody's going to come to. So you either going to be down or out. All right, now, and like it says here, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. And they're going to know, but it's going to be too late to do anything about it. So lastly, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 5, verse 8. It says, there shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters, and salt waters shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber. Why is understanding going to be so important in that time? Because how can you proceed further if you don't understand where you're at, if you don't understand what's going on? When somebody is lost, it's because they don't know where they are, or they don't understand where they are, or how to get from where they are somewhere else. So they're lacking in knowledge and understanding. Okay? But if you, for example, say you're in Manhattan, and you know how Manhattan downtown the streets are. You have like the street names, you have the street numbers, right? 46th Street, then next is 47th, then 48th. You got Fifth Ave, Sixth Ave, Seventh Ave, Eighth Ave, all that, right? So you may be in an area you don't know, and you may say, "Oh, I'm trying to get to 56 West 56 and I don't know, and Fifth Ave." You know that's going. If you understand how the street signs work, you're gonna know. Well, all right. If I'm on 42nd, I just got to keep walking, walking up, 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 up till I hit 56, and then I gotta look for whatever avenue I'm on and start heading in that way, and it'll eventually intersect and meet at wherever I'm looking for. But if you don't understand how the street signs work, you don't know where you are, you don't know anything like that, how can you move forward? You're not gonna know where to go. So understanding is going to be very important in that time because people, for a lack of understanding, are not going to know what kind of decisions to make. I don't understand if I should end up, if I should go to the shelter that they're telling me to go to or not. I don't understand if is it a good idea to go take the charagma that they're telling me to take. All right, is it a good idea to trust my neighbor who's telling me he'll take care of me and my wife and kids? I don't understand. What do I do? If they don't understand what's going on, what it's going to lead to, how it's going to affect them, and what they should have been doing, then they're not going to know how to make proper decisions on what to do. And we are starting to see the beginning phases of that as prophecy catches up to the world. Okay? It says here, shall withdraw itself into his secret chamber. Now, we're not going to be lacking understanding because the Lord has blessed us with it already. We got it now. We're not going to need to seek it in that time because we have it now. We're giving out the understanding, and it's for you to take that. Verse 10, and what it means by it withdrawing itself is meaning that we're not going to be out here giving out that understanding, of course, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, but we're not going to be doing that. Verse 10, it says, and shall be sought of many and yet not be found. Hey, because, people may recognize you by face, but then again, it's easy for us to blend in because when we have garments out there, it's a very distinctive look. It's easy for somebody to walk by and say, "Oh, Hebrew Israelites." But once we take the garments off and we walk back into the, wherever we at and get on the train or go here, we're just like everybody else. So in that time, you ain't gonna, be seeing us out there with garments on. We're just gonna be out regular, like a regular individual. So how are you gonna find the prophets? How are you gonna identify? Lest maybe you see, somebody, you might see one of the apostles and recognize them. Oh, apostle this, right? But that's if you are in the know. That's if you're in the circle. What about some Jake in the world who wasn't in the circle, who didn't watch videos? How will he identify the prophets? He won't, because we look like regular men. He's never seen us before. So how is he going to know who to even go to ask questions? You go on YouTube, no videos. You go on Rumble, no videos. What's the other things? There's this other one. Oh Lord, Odyssey, no videos. Facebook, no videos. So they no videos online. Whatever street corner you check in, you're not seeing the men of the Lord there. How are you gonna find the men of the Lord? We're gonna know what's going on, but how would you know? How would you know where to find us? You ain't. You see, and that's what's gonna make it. Oh, and ain't nothing hurts more than needing something and not having access to it, especially when you had it in abundance for so long and never took advantage. That thing hurts, man. When you have something in abundance for so long and you never take advantage of it, and then the time comes when you need it most and you can't find it anywhere. Whoo! See, the Lord knows. Look, Most High is called the Most High for a reason. Everything is Him. He is. All right. So, verse 10, it says, and shall be sought of many and yet not be found. Once again, how are you going to find us? Okay. Now, if by some, like they call it miracle, right? By some miracle, you happen to stumble across an individual. Oh yeah, he must have been one of those prophets, right? Well, ain't no guarantee that we're going to even want to talk to you. So you got to understand that for those that don't take advantage of the word now, you're going to be heavily screwed. Curiosity kills. Not knowing, like being in need and not knowing how to get help, is going to be very, very painful. Or having someone that you love and need and not being able to have help or guidance on what to do. Very, very painful. And then you finally find someone you know that they can help you, and then they say, "Nah, I ain't gonna help you." That's just even worse. If you kill me, you ain't getting the information. If you harm me, you ain't getting it. Because guess what? It's optional. I gotta open my mouth to speak to you. So shit. But it says here, um, and ultimately the spirit is gonna be guiding the elect anyway. Okay, because yeah, see, we know prophecies, we know things that are gonna take place, but then when it comes to, like, for example, what to do in the moment, the scriptures don't say that when 150 FEMA troops are in your hallway, right? Stand right in front of your door, knock 3 times, do a spin and lay on the floor. And then when it says wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, it's not talking about that. All right. It's talking about knowing, number one, your power, all right, knowing building that connection with the Lord, but understanding things on a larger scale. Understanding that, yeah, FEMA troops equal bad news. FEMA camps, even worse news. Karagma, terrible news. All right, stay away from that. Okay. But when it comes to things that you should do in the moment, the Lord is going to guide us then and there. All right. He might tell you, he might send an angel to warn you maybe the night before or the night of. He might say, yo, wake up, take your ass out of here right now. If you waste time, he might just teleport you out. Okay. So the Lord is going to deal with his elect on a much different level to where no harm comes to them. And people are gonna know, yo, hold on 1 second. These people definitely got to have a higher power with them, because this guy didn't survive any situation he was put in. I could have sworn he walked out of a burning building. What's going on here? Ain't no burns on him or nothing. You see, so the Lord is definitely gonna be with his elect. But let me finish this up real quick. It says, verse 10, and shall be sought of many and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon earth. One land also shall ask another and say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, no. And at the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. See, so prophecy is catching up to the world, and it's a beautiful thing. See, we embrace prophecy, but for those that try to run from it, you can run, but you can't hide. And eventually you ain't going to be able to run either. So, I mean, you best prepare, man. Anyway, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give. Yep. That's right. Yeah. Khan. Amram Chanachtazak. All right, yeah. Because the Lord is going to be with his elect. And you can also read a good precept is Isaiah 65 and 13. All right. But with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash. And until next time, Shalom.